Hi guys, welcome back to the Humble Gamer channel. I am the Humble Gamer and this is some more TrainSim. This route is from the Steam Workshop and it's called the Titfield Line. Now if any of you know your movies, particularly your railway movies, the Titfield Thunderbolt was a very, very popular movie. Well, back in the day, it was a Ealing comedy and I loved it. I've always loved that film. It was one of the first railway films I ever watched. So, and it had an iconic loco which was a black 042 GWR 14XX locomotive. I don't know if I've got the number right on this one, but I am just doing a quick drive scenario. The route is only about 5 miles long. Here is the full map. They've even included bits of the town where you can go into the town a la the scene from the movie. Mallingford is the destination. It's the only destination on the route, apart from Titfield and a couple of sidings. Now this is Titfield, and this is about as large as you'd expect Titfield to be. It's an absolutely tiny thing. There was a bit more detail in the town in the movie, but you know, give people credit for what they've been able to achieve. This is a very good adaptation of the route, I think. So we'll go straight away, pick up some passengers from Titfield. So once the passengers have come on, we shall make our way towards Mallingford. Now obviously in the movie, if you know it, it was I thought it was a very, very funny movie. I'm sure you can find it on Netflix or something like that. If you can, I'll see if I can find a link in the description so you can watch the movie. If I can't find it on Netflix, I should just put a link to IMDb. That light is going to get really frustrating for me. There we go. That's sorted that problem. Right, so let's make our way, shall we? Again, it's going to be a fairly slow run for the first for these 5 miles because it's only a little branch line. The basic setting of this is set on the sort of border between GWR and Southern Railway territory. It's in the post-grouping, it's in the BR era, but it's not in the BR diesel era. Diesels hadn't really come into it yet. I don't think you see a single diesel in the entire movie. I would love to I'd love to revisit this route if someone ever makes Lion, the old style steam locomotive that they use at certain points in the movie. By the way, minor spoilers are going to come out in this review. This run. Fucking review. Look at me thinking I'm reviewing movies. I can't review movies, I don't know enough about them. Unless you want to see me review some of the Thomas the Tank Engine movies, both old and new, I'm more than happy to do that. But let me know in the comments below. But the good thing about this particular workshop route is that not only is it very, very true to the movie route. For example, there's the farmhouse, because at some point the 042 runs out of water, though that's quite early on in the route, considering where Titfield is, just down there. Maybe it was coming the other way. But yes, the train pulled. The passengers from the train formed a whole thing from the house up there. They formed a whole line from the house up there, gathering pots and pans while the engine sat, and they gathered water from the river. I don't know if that was inspired by Thomas the Tank Engine, or Thomas the Tank Engine was inspired by that, or if they're both inspired by true stories. I would have to do my research for that. But one thing they have captured is the very, very rustic feel of this route. Obviously it's a small GWR branch line. It was never meant for big traffic. It was literally serving one town from a big main station. And because it wasn't used that regularly, you did get things growing on it. And this is, I love the detailing here with all the straw and the grass and everything. I think that's really, really cool. But yes, so a good chance to talk about my favourite ever type of locomotive, which is the 042, which in my Reader's Digest book of trains is right at the back. There we go, the 042. The 1400 class, introduced in 1932, so quite late on when you think about it in terms of tank locomotives. Designed by Collett and designed for light branch traffic. Most of you will know that I've covered an 042 before in my Thomas the Tank Engine reviews. Again, why am I talking reviews? I've watched a lot of Nostalgia Critic recently, maybe it's just implanted in my brain. In my Thomas the Tank Engine routes, the Snowdor Snippets series. I don't know why I'm struggling to speak so much today. But, yes, this is the bridge where they eventually have at some point in the movie they have a race with a bus, and it comes rattling under that bridge. Well, almost actually has quite a big crash. And I'm guessing that's the big main line. Yes, you see actually in the opening of the movie, you see a big Southern Battle of Britain class come flying across that bridge, and then the little 042 just sort of trundles along underneath it. But yes, we must be coming up somewhere to one of the more famous bits of the movie that I wish I could reenact for you, but I don't. There's not the technology in TrainSim to do this yet, which obviously I can understand why. Why would you want to do what I'm about to describe to you? But I do love the 042. I think there's just something magical about them. I've never been pulled behind one. I know that one comes to the Severn Valley Railway at least once a year for the Steam Guard, but I've never actually managed to get pulled behind it. But one day I will be pulled behind an 042 in reality. And if I do, I should probably take my camera and you guys will see it on this channel. Basically, this is quite a small locomotive. I just think it's wonderfully proportioned. I think it's a beautiful design. I think it looks nice, which is, I know it's not necessarily important for a locomotive. Note the Southern Q1 seen here, but or on the other side. I'm not quite with it today. I don't know why, but I've got a lot of recording to do today, and my brain is not in the right place for it. I am. Oh, that's quite. It's a nice effect, Trade. So I'm not sure that's quite how looking through weeds actually affects it. I don't think it actually affects the colours you see on it, but makes it look quite nice and old-timey. But ignoring the fact that this is obviously designed and based upon a movie route, I actually think this route stands up on its own just as a route because it does capture the essence of countryside railways. You know, I can't imagine running this with a much bigger locomotive than an 060 tank, maybe an 062. But again, that would feel too large for it, and you know, maybe one or two coaches. But it just doesn't. It wouldn't feel right running it. And obviously, you know, part of that is because I know the movie, and I know where it's based. But another part of that is just because the designer the route developer has made such a good job of capturing that small country branch line, which we don't have anymore in Britain. And I know a lot of you are going to comment about Dr. Beeching. He was only ever employed as a businessman. He looked at the numbers. He didn't make the decisions as to what railways closed down, despite the fact that we've painted him as this great villain of British railways, you know, amputating huge swathes of the network. Actually, I think this is the bridge that the bus comes screaming under. Because what the bus does is it comes tearing along this road, turns into this corner and nearly thunders into a car. There is a sort of Thomas the Tank Engine style race in this movie, as I've already mentioned. Just get one passing shot of the 042. And yes, there is the water tower just up there. That is empty. No, it's not empty. What? It's a big spoiler, so I won't. Well, I say it's a big spoiler. It's not a story-heavy film. The film essentially is basically about. Actually, I'll finish my point about Dr. Beeching first. I started that point, and so I will finish it. The point about Dr. Beeching was he merely recommended, on a purely financial numbers basis, what routes were not making money. He then handed the report to BR, and BR made the decisions. It wasn't Dr. Beeching who was responsible for closures. And actually there was a famous meeting where, I don't know how apocryphal this is, but there was a town that was going to be cut off from the railway network under the recommendations and the BR changes. And they all complained and said how important the local railway was to them and how they could never survive without their railway. And the BR spokesperson there simply said, how many of you came here by train? And about 3 people put their hands up. The rest of them, there was about 200 people, the rest of them had all driven by their own cars. And I can only imagine the BR executive shrugged his shoulders at that point and went, well, I mean, you clearly don't need it because you've all got cars. This can't be the crossing where it is the crossing where the event happens. Yes, in the movie there is a scene, there is a standoff at this crossing between the 042 and a lorry, which has been beautifully placed already. The 042 basically charges the lorry and just basically goes through it. Although, no, oh, is it? Or am I remembering that wrong? Or did it go through a steamroller? Might have gone through a steamroller. I'm not sure. A la Sir Handel and George from Thomas the Tank Engine. But either way, there was a bit with a lorry and a steamroller and the engine running through it. So, proper battle of steam locomotives. It is the steamroller. Incidentally, if you're wondering about this movie, it stars, amongst others, its cast includes Noel Coward and Sid James, and others whose name I cannot remember. And I'm fairly sure that The Simpsons did a takeoff of it. I could be wrong, but I'm fairly sure The Simpsons did do a takeoff of it. It would be an obscure reference for The Simpsons, but I think they did.
The line is now extinct. Of course.
Now let us bow our heads in a silent prayer of thanksgiving.
Just to clarify my point about Dr. Beeching, he did not close down the branch lines. That was actually someone else. Dr. Beeching just worked for ICI. He was a scientist and they brought him in to look at the financial figures, purely a numbers basis. But yes, I forgot what the other point I was going to make was now. But there we go. That was it, the plot of the movie. Basically, the plot of the movie follows this Titfield branch that runs up to Mallingford and back in the southern Great Western region. And it just follows the story of the railway, which is there's an inspector that comes around in the Beeching era and they're liable to be closed, and they have to prove that the railway is running to efficiency. That's it. It's not they're going to be closed, it's the fact that there are no trained railwaymen. It's very much a sort of community-run thing, I think. And have I got the DVD? I should have really got that out first, hadn't I? Never mind, I haven't got the DVD on me, it's in my bedroom, but oh, we're starting to come into Mallingford now, so we're going to start seeing a bit more of the city. I shall jump inside the cab, which is, incidentally, this is a Dovetail Games engine, obviously. No, it's not. It's made by VictoryWorks, who I absolutely love. Check out VictoryWorks, their website down below. It is, they do some wonderfully unique add-ons for TrainSim, and they've got lots more coming up. And I would highly recommend, if you play a lot of TrainSim, that you do look at some of their mods, particularly if you're a Great Western or Southern Railway fan. But yes, so they basically say they're going to, for whatever reason, the railway's under threat, and so the driver of this locomotive, the trained driver says, well, they're not going to take my locomotive, so he gets in it at night and tries to drive, and there's this wonderful scene where they drive the 042 through the streets, breaking all the laws of physics. It wouldn't happen like that, but you can actually do that a bit here. In certain places. In fact, I think I'm sure they said they'd put that in. I don't know where. I think it's one of the bits down here, or yes, it's there. It's this bit here. I'll see if I can get us onto that to finish this video, because I think it'd be brilliant to reenact that scene. But yes, and so they go, well, hold on, how the hell are we've got an inspector tomorrow, and the locomotive crashes, obviously. And they say, we've got no locomotive for tomorrow. We've got an inspector coming round, what the hell are we going to do? And basically they then go to the local museum in Mallingford and steal Lion, an 040 tender locomotive from back in the day. The really old style steam locomotive, you know, with a copper firebox, in fact something like this. And it's just... It's the story of coming together, and they go through lots of little troubles, and it's one of those things. It's one of those movies where not an awful lot happens, but enough happens to make it worthwhile. Now, we're not going to stop at Mallingford because I want to run the locomotive through through the town for you before we end this video. So, yes, I know we're speeding, but we're going to stop soon, don't worry. And so there's the platform just there. And this is a wonderful representation of the Mallingford station. It looks a little bit larger. I can't remember what station it's based on. I shall have to research that. But what we're going to do is we're going to slam the brakes on here. Might have to reverse ever so slightly. Throttle off, that up, those on. So what we're going to do now is we're now going to do something very unusual on TrainSim. We're going to run a train on the roads. Mainly because I want to see how well they've done with it, because that's one thing I didn't do. Right. Now I've got to double check the route. So we shall go back that way. Shut the regulator off. You'll probably see me at the end of this little shunting manoeuvre, so be with you in a second. You're now back with me, and we are on the turntable. Now we are going to go up this little bit of line here. I don't know how long it'll last. Eventually it will of course come back to the real railway. He's not going to let us crash, unfortunately, which is a shame, I think. But they do eventually, in the movie, what they do is, in that scene I told you about, they go rolling through the town, they do actually take this train off here, and it drops and runs on the grass, very much like this. And it doesn't go round corners. They manage to find a bit of road that is reasonably straight. But yes, so now what you're seeing is a bit of movie fantasy, because this obviously could never happen, particularly not in a 1 in 14 slope with no rails. But yes, they do actually go careering through this street in the movie, which is bloody hilarious on many levels. Like I said, highly inaccurate, but good fun. Yep, just to let you know, cars, there's one dead person, never mind. But I love the way they've done this. This is I've never seen this in a TrainSim route for 2017 anyway before. And I love the way that you can do this. Look, I'm running on a road between houses. And obviously, of course, in the real thing, it actually crashes, so I think it's only fair that I find a way to see if I can make this train crash. Unfortunately, I don't think that's going to happen, because I think I'm going to land perfectly on the tracks of the dairy. Now, normally the engine has crashed by this point in the movie, but never mind, eh? What that does mean is we can then reverse our engine, provided I probably will make it over the points because they're manual. Yes, I know I'm speeding, but that's not a problem. Well, I really was speeding. Which way is that pointing now? Is that pointing where I need to go? No, it's not. But either way, yes, that's... It's not quite as mental as the movie, but yeah, so you can run around there like that. And I genuinely recommend, if you do get a chance to go and watch the movie, it is an old Ealing comedy, it's quite dated now, you know, it's very sort of BBC British humour. But either check it out in the link in the description below on IMDb, or it'll be a link on Netflix if I can find it there. Obviously, if you want to look for it around the internet, you can. I'm not advertising that on here just in case. But if someone else finds it on the internet, then that is up to them. You might be able to find it here on YouTube to pay to watch. I don't know, but if I can find a link for you that's appropriate, I shall, of course, share it with you. So let's go that way. And then what the plan is now is I'm going to very gently reverse up to my coach, my auto coach, and we are going to finish the scenario by pulling into the platform at Mallingford, so I'll see you back there. Okay, so here we are back at Mallingford. Literally just about to touch up to the coach, which of course is the wrong way round to drive an auto coach, so I am breaking several railway purisms here. But hey, we've just driven along a road. I mean, how purist do you want it? It's based on a movie. But no, I've got to say, actually, in final summing up of this route is really, really nice. They've done a really good job of it. Is that Truro? It's there, I think. It is Truro, isn't it? With an extra platform put on the edge of it. But yes, no, it's a the Truro model incident that you may have seen on my Norranby route. Check out my Sodor snippets in the description below if you don't know what I'm talking about. But yes, so that's a pretty good way to end this scenario. Pretty much exactly how they end the movie, except the engine is facing the other way and it's an old engine. But you can go and check that out yourself. So please do check out this route in the description below. I don't think it needs that much DLC, but I will obviously make a note in the description of what it needs. It's on the Steam Workshop, completely free. Also check out the movie in the description below. Check out other TrainSim stuff I've done. The other two TrainSim Workshop videos. Also check out the Sodor snippet stuff. Thank you so much for watching. If you are enjoying what you're seeing, please like and subscribe. I was me. That was the Titfield route on the Steam Workshop for TrainSim 2017. Thank you very much for watching. Goodbye. We're now heading to the titular station of Cravenmore. But yes, so to clarify for Russell and anyone else,
it's the worst restaurant menu ever.
Cravenmore.
It's like that bloody Monty Python. Spam, 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 spam.
What do you
Crab
serve?
and more.
Crab and more. What's the and more? Just more than crab?
Yeah, more crab.